Welcome to our book summary series where we dive into the 4 game-changing rules of deep focus introduced by Cal Newport in his groundbreaking book, Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. In a world where we're bombarded by emails, social media notifications, and the constant buzz of our smartphones, it can be hard to find the focus to produce meaningful work. That's where the concept of deep work comes in. Deep work, as Newport defines it, is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's a skill that allows you to quickly master complicated information and produce better results in less time. Consider the example of a writer working on a novel. In a state of deep work, they're able to immerse themselves in the world they're creating, to understand the nuances of their characters, to weave together intricate plot lines. This level of concentration allows them to produce high-quality work in a fraction of the time it would take if they were constantly being interrupted by emails or social media notifications. On the flip side is the concept of shallow work. This is work that's non-cognitively demanding, logistical in nature, and often performed while distracted. It's the kind of work that fills our days but doesn't provide much value. It's answering emails, attending meetings, and scrolling through social media. It's work that's easy to do, but it doesn't push us to grow or produce anything of real value. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of shallow work. But as Newport argues, it's the ability to do deep work that separates the highly successful from the rest. It's the skill that allows you to quickly learn complicated information, to produce at an elite level, to achieve what others can't. So how do we cultivate this ability to work deeply? Well, that's where the 4 rules come in. But before we dive into those, let's remember this. Deep work isn't just a productive tool. It's a philosophy for a meaningful and successful life in a distracted world. Rule number 1, work deeply. Let's delve into this first principle that Newport so passionately advocates for. What does it mean to work deeply? It's about immersing oneself fully into a task, shutting out the world, and focusing intently on the work at hand. But how can this be achieved in a world teeming with distractions? Newport offers a solution with a few practical tips. First, eliminate distractions. This could mean putting your phone on silent, or better yet, out of sight. Second, establish a strict schedule. Allocate specific time blocks solely for deep work. And lastly, create a dedicated workspace. This could be a quiet room in your house, a local library, or even a coffee shop. The key is to associate this space with deep work. Remember, to work deeply, you need discipline and a well-defined structure. It's not easy, but the rewards are immense. Rule number 2, embrace boredom. This rule is all about training our brain to resist the siren call of distractions. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we're being productive when we're constantly switching between tasks. But as Newport argues, this is far from the truth. In reality, this constant task switching is eroding our ability to concentrate on a single task for a prolonged period of time. So, how do we combat this? Newport suggests an interesting strategy. Don't take breaks from distractions, but breaks from focus. This means, instead of allowing ourselves to be pulled away by every new email or social media notification, we should schedule specific times to indulge in these distractions. By doing so, we're not only giving our brains the rest it needs, but we're also training it to resist the lure of distractions when we're engaged in deep, focused work. By embracing boredom, we train our brain to stay focused on important tasks. Rule number 3, quit social media. Now, before you gasp in horror, let's dissect this. Cal Newport isn't suggesting that we all become hermits, but rather that we be more intentional with our use of social media. The constant pings, notifications, and updates can be a significant distraction, fragmenting our attention and preventing us from achieving the level of focus required for deep work. You see, when we're trying to concentrate, every time we glance at our phone, it takes a toll on our cognitive resources. A study from the University of California, Irvine, found that it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully regain our focus after a single interruption. Just think about how many times a day you check your phone. The math isn't pretty. So how do we go about this? Newport suggests implementing a 4-week test. For a month, remove a social media platform from your life. If you find that you don't miss it, and your work and personal life haven't suffered, then perhaps it wasn't as crucial as you thought. Now, Newport isn't advocating for complete social isolation. Social media can, of course, be beneficial. It keeps us connected, informed, and entertained. But as with anything, balance is key. The problem arises when these platforms start to consume us, when we're scrolling mindlessly, wasting precious hours that could be dedicated to more fulfilling, productive activities. In essence, it's about being mindful of the tools we use and the impact they have on our ability to concentrate. It's about questioning their real value in our lives. Are they helping us achieve our goals, or are they just a comfortable distraction? Remember, not every tool that offers some benefit is necessarily beneficial to your work and life. And finally, rule number 4, drain the shallows. This rule is all about minimizing the time we spend on shallow work. Shallow work is non-cognitively demanding, logistical-style tasks that don't require us to tap into our ability to work deeply. These tasks often fill our days but don't significantly contribute to our goals or value in the world. Cal Newport proposes a strategy to tackle this, scheduling every minute of our day. It might sound extreme, but it's a method that ensures deep work takes precedence. It's not about rigidly sticking to a schedule, but rather about giving every moment a job. It's a process of assigning tasks to time, and in doing so, we can visualize the day's landscape. This strategy helps us avoid falling into time traps filled with shallow work. It's about being intentional with our time, recognizing its value, and controlling where it flows. By draining the shallows, we can make more room for what truly matters. To conclude our dive into Newport's deep work, let's take a moment to reflect upon the transformative power of the principles we've explored. Embracing deep work is about more than mere productivity. It's about carving out space in our overstimulated, distraction-riddled world to focus on what truly matters. The 4 rules we've discussed, working deeply, embracing boredom, quitting social media, and draining the shallows, are not mere suggestions, but rather integral steps towards reclaiming our focus and, by extension, our lives. By implementing these rules, we can shift from being passive consumers of time to active creators of our own fulfilling and successful professional lives. Remember, the journey to deep work is not a sprint, but a marathon. It requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to step out of our comfort zones. But the payoff is immense: productivity, satisfaction, and a sense of purpose. Deep work is more than just a productivity tool. It's a path to a meaningful life. Subscribe to our channel for more valuable book summaries. Thank you for watching.